From spraying down schools to adding partitions in classrooms, for weeks now, school districts across North Texas have been detailing reopening plans in light of COVID-19.
When everybody started talking about back to school and the planning, we were adamant that we needed to do so in a safe manner.
Ovidio Molina is president of the Texas State Teachers Association, and in a statewide report the TSTA released this week, its members are outlining a variety of COVID-19 violations and concerns in a survey.
We were asking questions about protective equipment, rules that were going to be put in place, funding that was going to be needed, more personnel.
The TSTA says nearly 700 of its members from 135 school districts took the online survey. It sent us the results from 3 school districts in Dallas County. The data shows the most complaints from Dallas ISD include inadequate protective supplies, insufficient accommodations for high-risk employees or family members, inadequate district sick leave policies, and inadequate classroom social distancing.
We all have a voice. We want to be heard.
In Garland ISD, workers are most complaining about insufficient accommodations for high-risk employees, non-compliance with mask mandates, inadequate classroom social distancing, and inadequate access to cleaning and sanitation supplies.
We know what happens in our schools.
The TSTA survey reveals there are similar complaints in Grand Prairie ISD. Their report shows inadequate classroom social distancing, inadequate ventilator or ventilation equipment, inadequate mitigation policies for lunch or transportation, and lack of health safety enforcement are top concerns there.
So, Olivia, what is the message that the TSTA is sending to administrators across the districts right now?
We want administrators to really step up for their school employees.
Some school districts are responding to TSTA's controversial report. In a statement, Dallas ISD told us in part, it has strategically led every decision with the health and safety of students and staff first. While philosophies on how to safely conduct school reopening may differ, our district is prepared with the appropriate PPE along with other safety protocols following CDC and local health guidelines. Grand Prairie ISD points out, in addition to safety plans, it produced a variety of videos demonstrating safety protocols in schools, classrooms, and buses. The district's also created a COVID-19 response team, among other proactive measures. Garland ISD says it's taken a proactive and unified approach with safety. It recently met with the state TSTA representative to discuss and resolve concerns. That district's appointed COVID champions to help address questions and updating cleaning protocols. In Dallas, I'm Damon Fernandez.